Okay, again, aloha everybody, and welcome back to Geography 380 and the equivalent course for you graduate students. I am happy to introduce your final lab for this semester, which is Lab 8, Putting It All Together, also known as Power to the People. So in this lab, as you can see, it's going to be a little bit different than prior lab assignments. So in this one, you're going to work in pairs. And I'm going to ask you to kind of tackle a number of geospatial problems that have come to you from a client. So we're basically going to, you guys are going to be in the scenario of, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, of a kind of a geospatial consulting firm. And a client has come to you with some requests, and you are going to, produce the best that you can for this. It's assigned today. It's already open on La-Lima, and you've got until the 22nd, I believe, to complete this guide. And so you're asked to, similar to past labs, submit the requested maps and visualizations, and then some kind of a Word document that provides any supporting explanatory text. Only one submission is needed from each group. Okay, so if you're in the pair, as long as you submit, and on the file that you submit, it should be named Lab 8 and then last name 1, last name 2. So you don't both need to submit; just one person needs to submit. And let's talk about it a little bit. So GISRS. So the idea is that you and your partner, and I've assigned the partners. You don't have any choice in that. So that's right away unrealistic, but it's a good exercise in working with other folks. You've just started an environmental consulting firm specialized in geospatial data analysis and visualization. You help people answer their spatial questions, and you get paid to do it, or at least that's how it's supposed to work, right? That's the scenario. You're not actually going to get paid for this, but you're gonna get credit. You're just starting out. You landed your first client, an environmental justice group that wants to change the national power supply. They're interested in clean and safe power for the people. And so the groups that have been assigned, and it's pretty much gone down in generally alphabetical order. But here we go. So I would encourage you guys to, and if your partner is on the screen this morning, maybe a good opportunity to shoot them a message and make sure you guys you can exchange contact information. If your partner is not on today, let me know, and I can facilitate an email for both of you guys to kind of get situated. But these are the groups. These groups are, again, this is posted on the document, which is on La-Lima, so everybody can kind of see what they got. So and Ashlyn, who's on a sea tour right now up to the northwestern Hawaiian Islands, she'll be in a slightly different scenario. The job. So there's two main things that the client has asked you guys to do. Number one, they want a well-composed map that shows all U.S. nuclear power plants and highlights those that may be susceptible to damage from a natural disaster, specifically earthquakes, tsunamis, storm surge, or tornadoes, along with an assessment of risk. So low, medium, high for each of the plants based on some reasonable criteria that you come up with and explain. So that's the first one. And then the second one is to create a figure that clearly shows the locations and type, coal, petroleum, wind, etc., of power plants in these 4 states: California, Hawaii, Alaska, and Texas, along with some sort of supporting graphics that show the capacity of production in megawatts of each of these types at the state level. Your clients want to use this figure in your advice to determine where they should target their efforts to have the most impact for activities aimed at decreasing greenhouse gas emissions from power plants. And each of these products should have a small text box that includes information about the sources of the data used and any analysis techniques used. Okay, so that's the task, right? They want these things, and they don't know where you're going to get the data for these, and they don't know how you're going to do it, right? They know what they want. Okay, so it's your job to sort of figure out how to come up with this, how to do the analysis to provide what they want and to be able to explain it, right? And this note, it may make sense to take a divide and conquer approach. I'll do task 1, you do task 2. Perhaps in consultation, that may not be a bad idea. I don't know that those tasks are equal amounts of work. And certainly whatever gets shared at the end or delivered to the client, it's going to be evaluated as a collective whole. So if the style of the 2 different products is totally different, that's going to be a problem, right? You guys are representing a firm with an aesthetic, with an approach. And as such, the things that you guys provide should be coherent and consistent. And so if you guys are each totally working independently and there's no communication about style or other things, or the analysis in one doesn't match up with what was done with the other one, it's going to be problematic. Okay, so you want to just make sure you are collectively working on this. And I would not suggest blindly saying, I do 1 and you do 2. That's probably not going to provide the successful outcome that you want. And yeah, that's the basic idea. So let me take a moment here. I'll go back to the groups, and I will just take a moment and ask if you guys have any questions about this. You guys will be graded on what gets submitted, and so each group member will receive the same grade. If you're having a problem with your group member and that they're non-responsive or other things are going on, you should let me know, but it's also on you guys to work that out. This is a group of very reasonable folks. So I don't anticipate many issues. And so again, this is part of what's going on here. I really would prefer that it's not one person does all the work and the other person receives the credit, right? So you guys need to protect yourselves in that regard. And I certainly hope that doesn't happen. So I'm not looking to micromanage the groups by any means. If you're having issues with your group members, let me know. But again, the first course is that, you guys can work it out. You're all adults here. Okay. This again is different than prior labs in that you are working together. So I imagine there might be some questions on this or other things. Please do let me know if there are questions or anything's unclear. And yeah. Okay, not yet, but there may be ones that come up. So again, you guys are responsible for finding the data. You guys are responsible for figuring out how to do your analyses. You guys are responsible for coming up with your final products. Okay, so that's part of the assignment. Very good. Okay, so if there aren't any questions for that one, again, at the very least, I would write down your partner's name, and hopefully you guys are in touch via side communications or such right now. It looks like Mia's just coming in. That will be a helpful thing for you guys. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to stop.